Chapter 601, Profiting from the Situation. Supreme True Inheritance. Fang Yuan's pupils enlarged and his gaze burned brightly. When the true inheritance light lump was still 1,000 steps away, Fang Yuan felt its surging aura. This was a feeling which ordinary true inheritances and even unparalleled true inheritances did not have. Under the effect of this aura, thoughts started to gather in Fang Yuan's mind. Countless thoughts emerged out of thin air, and his memories flashed past continuously. If his mind was like a deep pond during normal times, then right now. The rapidly increasing thoughts were like a huge waterfall crashing down into this deep pond. Thoughts surged madly, creating waves after waves. This feeling was incomparably wonderful, and Fang Yuan was not able to find an accurate word to describe it. The memories buried deep within his mind started to emerge one after another, the dust on them removed as they realistically and vividly appeared in his mind. Great numbers of inspirational lights flashed past, and all sorts of lively ideas emerged. In Fang Yuan's mind, some problems and doubts regarding cultivation were being instantly solved under the inspirational lights, and extremely strong self-confidence involuntarily arose in Fang Yuan's mind. This was an indescribably wonderful feeling, as if everything was within his control, as if there were no problems he could not solve. This was a special power that people could not help but be deeply addicted to. Lad, wake up quickly. I also know how intoxicating this feeling is, but if you don't want to die, don't lose yourself in it. Look at yourself quickly, Mo Yao shouted. This voice awakened Fang Yuan, and when he looked at himself, he was pale with horror. In just a short moment, his body had become weak and exhausted. His glossy forehead now had wrinkles. His strong arms gave a feeling of being old and decayed, and were turning even more weak. If not for Mo Yao's reminder, Fang Yuan might have lost himself in that wonderful feeling and overlooked the changes to his body. This goo is... Fang Yuan thought of an incomparably shocking answer, and at the same time, used his movement goo to quickly retreat. True Inheritance secluded domain did not prohibit the use of goo worms. The Supreme True Inheritance also was not chasing Fang Yuan and just continued to fly on its path. Fang Yuan rapidly pulled distance with it before fearfully looking at this Supreme True Inheritance that was flying far away, cutting open the dark space. This is only the aura of a Supreme True Inheritance, and it almost made me lose myself and die. How difficult would its test be? Fang Yuan exclaimed in shock. He could not even get near human Qi Gu, an unparalleled true inheritance. There was no need to speak of supreme true inheritance, let alone approaching it. Just by nearing it a little, the aura it leaked out almost took his life. Just like Mo Yao said, Fang Yuan as a mortal was too weak. This inheritance was definitely a great thing, but he did not have the strength to bear it. It was like a bee picking honey. If the honey was as big as a fist, the bee would instead drown to death. The immortal goo of this supreme true inheritance. Could it be that legendary goo? Fang Yuan spoke with almost 80% certainty. But this answer was too shocking, making him somewhat unable to believe it. Mo Yao laughed. Lad, your guess is correct. Even I did not dare to believe it back then. But the truth is right before your eyes. There is no choice but to believe it. Right. The immortal goo contained in this supreme true inheritance is the rank 9 goo of legend, Wisdom Goo. Wisdom Goo. It was recorded in, this was a rank 9 immortal goo which could give endless wisdom to the goo master, but the price to use it was extremely high. The legends of Rinzhu clearly recorded that Rinzhu and Desolate Ancient Moon had to give their middle age to it to obtain its help, in other words. Using Wisdom Goo meant using up lifespan. Fang Yuan had not even approached it, but his lifespan had been worn down rapidly. Wrinkles appeared, and his body aged in just a short period of time. In regards to Fang Yuan, Wisdom Goo was a true death god. I really don't know how Giant Sun Immortal Venerable obtained it back then, and even more, what heaven-defying methods did he use to seal it here? No wonder Giant Sun Immortal Venerable thought up all kinds of methods to extend lifespan. He must have used Wisdom Goo a lot. Fang Yuan was deeply moved that Mo Yao instead sighed. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable probably used Wisdom Goo for one reason, to extend lifespan. Unfortunately, the more Wisdom Goo was used, the shorter his lifespan became, and in the end, he did not obtain the solution he wanted as well. According to the historical records, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable lived for over 8,000 years before dying. 8,000 years was already a result on the middle to upper level among rank 9 venerables. Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, who had the longest lifespan, lived for 25,000 years. The one with the shortest lifespan was Red Lotus Demon Venerable, who only lived for 3,000 years. Other venerables generally had a lifespan of around 7,000 years. There are 3 supreme true inheritances in True Inheritance Secluded Domain. Tell me, what are the other 2 like? I really want to experience them. Fang Yuan's eyes let out an indescribable radiance. Mo Yao felt something wrong with his tone and quickly persuaded. Lad, don't have stupid thoughts. Pick up an ordinary true inheritance quickly and leave. You have the 10-edge owner token and can only take away an ordinary true inheritance anyway. Even if you pass the test of an unparalleled true inheritance, you cannot take them. Don't even mention supreme true inheritances. Your weak body that can be blown away by the wind cannot even endure their aura. Fang Yuan laughed loudly. Your words make me even more interested to see them. This opportunity is extremely rare. I am afraid I won't get another chance if I miss it this time. Brat, have you gone mad? Do you not know you lost at least 2 years of your lifespan just a few moments ago? If you continue squandering time like this, and the true inheritances start flying with the speed of a meteor, you won't be able to get anything, and you might even lose your life. Mo Yao was anxious. Fang Yuan kept on laughing without being moved. He continued to wander, detouring far away when he saw ordinary true inheritances and unparalleled true inheritances. With not even a bit of intention to take them, Mo Yao's will become more anxious. You lunatic! Heavens, what in the world are you thinking in your brain? You are letting so many true inheritances go away just to broaden your horizons? You idiot! If you die, what should I do? What about Water Pavilion? If I die, this will of yours will also not be able to survive, but you can rest easy. You still have a will left in Water Pavilion. You can wait for a fated person and entrust this precious task upon them. Fang Yuan unhurriedly replied. Mo Yao tried to persuade him again, but Fang Yuan was adamant in doing things his own way. He kept on exploring nonstop, and after several days, the true inheritances were moving faster. Fang Yuan went into dangerous situations every now and then. Several times, he faced the danger of losing his life, but narrowly managed to escape in the end. Mo Yao had been trying to persuade him the whole time, the anxiety making her go mad. Lad, I surrender. You are truly stubborn. All right. You don't have to continue. I will tell you about the other 2 supreme true inheritances. The first is a luck path inheritance founded by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. Using his unique luck path attainment, he was able to become invincible in the world. Second is the control rights of 88 True Yang Building. This tower was refined by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and Long-Hair Ancestor. It can plunder the goo worms of a region. There would be endless goo cultivation resources for one who obtains it. She was truly anxious. Normally, she might not necessarily be in the mood to provide such inside details to Fang Yuan even if he asked. Now, however, she revealed it, afraid Fang Yuan would continue acting foolishly. But what she was afraid of happened. Fang Yuan chuckled, and as if he had not heard anything, continued to wander. Several days later, the true inheritance's flying speed was already as fast as birds. It was extremely easy for Fang Yuan to evade 1 or 2, but true inheritance secluded domain seemed to be shrinking, and all sizes of true inheritances had to fly in the narrowing space. The long tails of all sorts of colorful lights they dragged were almost interweaving a thinly spread light web. Fang Yuan could only survive moving through the cracks of at this stage. Fang Yuan was using all his concentration and did not dare to relax for even a moment, for a moment of carelessness would lead to the tragedy of his death. Leave quickly. You can't even take away ordinary true inheritances now. As long as you continue to stay here, the danger will increase by each second. Sigh, you have actually gone crazy in such a crucial moment. Mo Yao was getting dispirited from all the persuading. Fang Yuan's gaze was burning, suddenly asking, Tell me, Is there a possibility I can find an opportunity to reap benefits when two true inheritances collide? Mo Yao was stunned upon listening to this. But soon, she shouted in a shrill voice, "You fool! You idiot! Would the grand giant sun, immortal venerable, commit such a clear mistake? So you were thinking like that. I overestimated you. I overestimated you too much. You have clearly become a victim of your own ingenuity. How could there be such an obvious loophole for you to exploit? You have thought too wishfully. You are too naive." So it was just my wishful thinking. Fang Yuan chuckled, his expression undisturbed as he continued to explore. Actually, he had already known this, but intentionally said it to provoke Mo Yao. "Why are you still not leaving? Are you looking to die?" Mo Yao was provoked and was completely driven mad by Fang Yuan. "Whether I die or not is my matter. It is none of your concern. You have already died. Why is a dead person making such a din?" Fang Yuan indifferently ridiculed her, his expression still tranquil as if the one in danger was not him. "Damn it! Scoundrel! Idiot!" Mo Yao's face flushed with rage and started hurling out curses. Rumble. Right at this time, an explosion suddenly occurred a great distance away. Fang Yuan gazed at the source of the sound, seeing two true inheritances colliding which then sprang towards different directions. Fang Yuan was dumbstruck. He had not expected his nonsensical words to come true. True inheritances actually collided, especially when one of the inheritances seemed to be a supreme, true inheritance. Mo Yao was also dumbstruck. How is this possible? Her voice rose an octave higher into an ear-piercing sound that had no demeanor of a refinement path grandmaster. "Back then, when I explored this place, why did not I encounter such a good thing?" But soon, her eyes opened wide, coming to a realization. So it was like that. That is the luck path's supreme true inheritance. Back then I did all I could to open up a crack in it to obtain the fortune rivaling heaven goo, but in the end it flew away. I could only use the other inheritances I obtained to settle for the second best option, refining calamity, beckoning goo. Mo Yao had created a crack in this supreme true inheritance. Because it was no longer in a perfect state, the original balance was tilted, allowing true inheritances to collide into one another. Boom! Another sound of a collision. Fang Yuan's eyes opened wide. This collision seemed to have caused a goo to fly out from the luck path's supreme true inheritance. Fang Yuan was stumped. "What is that?" Mo Yao was also stupefied before shouting. "That is a luck path goo worm. What are being dazed for? Aren't you going to take it?" Fang Yuan, however, hesitated. "If I try to take this goo, wouldn't I be met with the luck path true inheritance's test?" Luck path true inheritance was a supreme true inheritance. Fang Yuan would never be able to endure its test. What damn test? The collision has enlarged the crack in the true inheritance light lump. It is breaking down. "Take it and leave quickly. If you don't leave now, you are going to die here," Mo Yao shouted. Fang Yuan chuckled and moved forward, dodging here and there, before being able to approach with great difficulty and pick up that goo worm. This was a rank 5 mortal goo and not an immortal goo. "Lad, you are still not leaving?" Mo Yao was almost howling by now. "Haha, what's the rush?" Fang Yuan laughed heartily, but did not leave, instead staying within true inheritance secluded domain, observing everywhere. "Looking at the time, with the current chaos, it is almost ready," he mumbled. "Lad, what did you say?" Mo Yao had just spoken when Fang Yuan sprinkled many goo worms which activated together to form a whirlpool. The whirlpool let out a majestic force of attraction, absorbing all the true inheritance lights. Several breaths later, the whirlpool slowed down and crumbled with a loud sound, revealing a door, all according to plan. Fang Yuan threw himself in without hesitation. The next moment he saw the land spirit. Chapter 602, Frost Jade Peacock. The scene before one's eyes was that of a grand and elegant white jade hall. 4 huge pillars were holding up the roof. On the ground, light casted shadows on a person. Be it the walls, pillars, or roof, they were pure and white as snow. They were all created using white jade stones. At the center of the hall, there was an elevated area with 23 steps of stairs. On the elevated area, there was a green copper divine bird statue. The divine bird was looking up and spreading its wings, but there were countless black chains, each with the size of an ancient tree, coiling around the divine bird's body, tangling around its long neck, its slim legs, and even piercing through its feathers and lodging itself into its body. The divine bird's eyes were sharp as daggers, it was frowning, and had its mouth wide open, almost as if screaming out loud. Its expression was very moving, it looked so real with delicate details, and there was an indomitable spirit of resistance oozing from it. This spirit could leave a firm impression after a single gaze. Fang Yuan appeared on the stairs. Looking at the tall and huge green copper divine bird statue covering his vision, his dark pupils seemed to have flames burning within. This. The sudden turn of events shocked Mo Yao to the point of stuttering. She gulped as she pointed her finger, shouting, "This is actually the Frost Jade Peacock, Imperial Court Blessed Land's land spirit." "Ah, what's there to be surprised about?" Fang Yuan's lips curled into a smile, he said. Imperial Court Blessed Land originally had a land spirit, otherwise it would not have recognized Giant Sun Immortal Venerable and made him its master. The land spirit is formed by the combination of an obsession and the Blessed Land's heavenly power. To get rid of the land spirit, you will have to deal with the entire blessed land. If the land spirit dies, the blessed land will be destroyed. If the blessed land is destroyed, the land spirit will die too. Currently, Imperial Court Blessed Land is still in good shape. It means the land spirit is still alive. His words made Mo Yao shout in anger. "You bastard! Such obvious reasoning, how could I not know this?" Mo Yao had done all she could to research 88 True Young building for her lover Bo Qing, in an attempt to get the fortune-rivaling Heaven Gu, and help Bo Qing advance to rank 9. Eventually. Although she succeeded in entering the True Inheritance secluded domain, because of her insufficient power she could not obtain fortune-rivaling Heaven Gu. Instead, she had to settle for something else, using her inheritance information and her own foundation as a refinement grandmaster to refine the calamity beckoning Gu. Because of this, she understood the value of the land spirit of Imperial Court Blessed Land extremely clearly. Back then, when Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was not rank 9, he had won in the competition for Imperial Court Blessed Land's inheritance, and became the owner of Imperial Court Blessed Land. When he became rank 9 and was invincible in the world, he had the superior Grotto Heaven, Longevity Heaven, and thus Imperial Court Blessed Land became one of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's multiple residences within the world. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable created 88 True Young building and set it up within Imperial Court Blessed Land. This formed a relationship. If one was targeting 88 True Young building, they would need to first enter Imperial Court Blessed Land. Imperial Court Blessed Land thus became a protective shell for 88 True Young building. After Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's arrangement, this shell had been exerting great use, in that Gu Immortals could not enter. But in this setup, there was a huge flaw. Any Gu Immortal could see it clearly. That was the existence of the land spirit of Imperial Court Blessed Land. This flaw did not exist when Giant Sun Immortal Venerable was still alive. Because Giant Sun was the master of the land spirit would obey and do whatever he told it to do. But after Giant Sun Immortal Venerable died, Imperial Court Blessed Land became ownerless. As long as one could meet the land spirit's expectations, anyone could become Imperial Court Blessed Land's new owner, and 88 True Young building was situated inside Imperial Court Blessed Land. Thus whoever controlled Imperial Court Blessed Land would have 88 True Young building in their grasp. As long as one was a Gu Immortal, they would understand this from just a small amount of thinking. In Mo Yao's lifetime. When researching 88 True Young building, she had spent a huge amount of time and effort in this field, but eventually she made no progress. All the hard work and effort she put into this resulted in nothing. What sort of person was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable? How could he be unaware of this loophole? He dealt with this perfectly, sealing the land spirit deep within, and in Mo Yao's eventual exploration, she could not even find a single feather of the land spirit. To think that the land spirit was hidden inside the True Inheritance secluded domain. Only when the True Inheritances fly at a certain speed would this loophole appear and allow for the possibility of opening this gateway. Mo Yao's heart was shaken at this moment. She understood what had happened. The more she thought about it, the more she viewed Fang Yuan with a new and higher level of respect. This lad, I underestimated him. What sort of background does he have? He actually knew this method of entry. Mo Yao was shocked and curious. Fang Yuan's performance was very shocking. It greatly exceeded her expectations. What she did not know was, this was inside the video from Central Continent's Gu Immortals and Fang Yuan's previous life. In fact, The deep research of Central Continent's Goo Immortals was actually built upon the foundation of Mo Yao's findings. Mo Yao was an impressive refinement grandmaster. For her lover, she researched the 88 True Yang building and charged in alone. After she died, the previous research material that she left behind was in the hands of Spirit Affinity House. For the 10,000 years after that, generations after generations of geniuses within Spirit Affinity House continued their research on it. At the same time, 88 True Yang building had been corroded by the power of time, showing more and more loopholes over the years, becoming easier to exploit. But Spirit Affinity House knew that to take down this juicy meat called 88 True Yang building, it was not something a superforce could do alone. Thus, Spirit Affinity House secretly worked with several other Central Continent sects and planned this for thousands of years. Spirit Affinity House took the lead as they controlled the most important research materials from beginning to end. Later, good preparation would be the key to success. When Central Continent's Goo Immortals attacked, the group was led by Spirit Affinity House's fairy of that generation, Black Moon. As he walked up the stairs, Fang Yuan arrived at the foot of the green copper divine bird. This tall statue was Imperial Court Blessed Land's land spirit, Frost Jade Peacock, except that it was sealed tightly by giant sun immortal venerable and could not move. Since hundreds of thousands of years ago, throughout the ages, it had been standing here without any movement. As they got closer, Mo Yao had a discovery. Heh, lad, your plan will be hard to execute. The green paste on the Frost Jade Peacock's body is created by the rank 7 Immortal Goo Earth Prison. The black chains that are coiling around its body are made from the rank 7 Immortal Goo Earth net. While saying this, Mo Yao thought of something and her words stopped. Once, in Fang Yuan's mind, she was staring with her eyes wide open, like she had seen a ghost, because she had suddenly remembered, not long ago, Fang Yuan summoned 2 Immortal Goo. One of them was Gruel Mud, Earth Prison Goo, Earth Net Goo. Although they were rank 7 Immortal Goo and were higher than Gruel Mud by 1 rank, but they were one-time expenditure Goo. They vanished after 1 use. The 2 rank 7 Immortal Goo worked together to seal the land spirit, but after hundreds of thousands of years of corrosion from time, this strength had weakened greatly, and Gruel Mud was a direct counter to this strength. Ha ha ha. It seems you have already thought about it. You are not too stupid. Fang Yuan laughed heartily as he took out the Gruel Mud Immortal Goo from his pocket. Although this goo was rank 6, because it was an expenditure-type goo, it was comparatively easier to use. There was no need to inject immortal essence into it. He just needed to squeeze it. Fang Yuan squeezed lightly, and it shattered. The goo worm burst and oozed out a brown-green light that was like liquid. The light followed Fang Yuan's will and flew up, fusing into the divine bird statue. Throughout the process, Mo Yao watched in a daze, unable to say a word. After the light fused into the statue, a slight tremor occurred. But this tremor was simply too light. It was almost like an illusion. But soon, this tremor became larger. The entire divine bird statue started shaking. Cracks were forming on the green paste covering the divine bird statue. Next, the chains started colliding with one another, making a loud and sharp noise. Success. Don't tell me, after hundreds of thousands of years of wear and tear, the powers of the 2 Immortal Goo were used up. Mo Yao muttered to herself. She had a complex expression. There were disbelief, surprise, suspicion, and denial. But afterwards, the tremors became smaller. The divine bird statue became silent, and the chains stopped clashing. The entire white jade hall became quiet once again. Mo was deeply disappointed. She sighed. Failed in the end. There was the difference of a rank, plus this was the setup of an immortal venerable. But at this point, Fang Yuan laughed lightly. Mo Yao, look at the divine bird's head. Mo Yao's will looked over and was shocked. The green paste on the land spirit's head is slowly melting. That's right. This is the Gruel Mud Immortal Goo's real effect. I was too caught up with the commotion and got carried away. I lost my bearings and did not think of this. Laughable. How laughable. Mo Yao suddenly shook her head and sighed. Immediately afterwards her expression had vanished completely, restoring the demeanor of a legendary Goo Immortal, a refinement grandmaster. Actually, she could not help but briefly lose her cool. In her life, she had paid too huge of a price for Imperial Court Blessed Land, for 88 True Yang building. Right now, Earth Prison Goo and Earth Net Goo, the powers of these 2 Immortal Goo. Although corroded mostly by the power of time, they still had a portion remaining. Although Gruel Mud Immortal Goo was effective against them, It was only rank 6. It was still very difficult to get rid of the remaining power. But don't forget about the existence of the land spirit. The tremors earlier were due to the land spirit. It was the one which exerted strength, causing the two immortal goo to divert the majority of their power to suppress it, allowing the gruel mud immortal goo's power to sneak in. As the green paste melted, it turned into gruel mud on the white jade floor. The green-black mud was a great contrast to the white tiles on the ground. Drop by drop, they fell on the ground. The frost jade peacock's head was released, but after getting to its neck, the speed of melting greatly reduced. Evidently, Earth Prison and Earth Net Goo's remaining power reacted and started to resist gruel mud, causing the efficiency to reduce greatly. Just like in the video in my previous life, it is exactly the same. Fang Yuan laughed as he looked at the land spirit. Frost Jade Peacock, O Imperial Court land spirit, look down at your feet. I was the one who released you. How does it feel to breathe again after hundreds of thousands of years? As long as you recognize me as your master, I will help you to regain freedom. Frost Jade Peacock's angry expression was still fixed on its face. Hearing Fang Yuan's words, it laughed arrogantly. I am one with the blessed land. All the things that happened in the blessed land for the last hundreds of thousands of years are clear in my heart. If you want to be my new owner, you will need to fulfill one condition. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, giant sun immortal venerables fulfilled this land spirit's request and became Imperial Court Blessed Land's owner. Today, Fang Yuan was facing this request as well. At this point, the video in his previous life had no more value. Fang Yuan laughed as his eyes shone, asking, what condition? Chapter 603, Sleepless Night. No, don't abandon me. Save me, benefactor. The voices were reverberating in Tai by Yunsheng's ears. He opened his eyes suddenly and sat up on his bed. Huff, huff, he was panting. With his body covered in sticky sweat, it was very uncomfortable. Another nightmare. Under the dim light, this rank 5 peak stage expert's face showed an old and weary expression befitting his age. In the silent room, Tai by Yunsheng's breathing sounds became softer. As his frown slowly eased, sitting on his bed, he fell into deep silence, like he was in a daze. There was an extreme fatigue hidden in his gaze. Ever since he failed the round, he had been in deep guilt and self-blame for causing Gao Yang and Zhu Zai to be sacrificed due to his own greed. Almost every night, he had the same nightmare. The nightmare. Blood was pouring everywhere. The smell was overbearing. All sorts of ugly blood beasts bared their claws and fangs as he was encircled, facing Gao Yang and Zhu Zai's pleas. They called him benefactor. They asked him to save them. But every time, even though Tai by Yunsheng had an aperture full of primeval essence, he would be unable to move. Watching Gao Yang and Zhu Zai get surrounded by blood beasts and eventually consumed, leaving behind their pale white bones. Throughout the process, Gao Yang and Zhu Zai would sometimes beg him, sometimes they would protect him, or curse furiously, or taunt him. Eventually, when they turn into pale white skeletons, lying in the pool of blood, they would still say with their remaining skulls, I believe in Lord Tai Bai. He is so kind and righteous. He will definitely never abandon us. I believe in him too. Even if I die, I will believe. Tai Bai Yunsheng was in pain. He felt sadness, helplessness, and regret. Especially at the end, he would kneel on the ground helplessly in his dream, letting the blood dye his white hair red as he cried profusely. He felt that he was no longer Tai Bai Yunsheng. This experience made him reevaluate himself, but every time he examined, it resulted in a severe negative answer. Sometimes when he looked in the mirror, he felt that he was looking at a stranger. Tai Bai Yun Sheng was not the only person who had a sleepless night. It was late at night. Imperial Court Blessed Land's night was dazzling with silver light, shining on the land. He Lulan looked out of the window. Above the sacred palace, 88 Truyong building was still forming new floors. The dazzling aurora was shining brightly in the sky, creating a beautiful scenery. Damn it! The owner token went missing. What in the world happened? Thinking back to the time when he challenged the round, He Lulan gritted his teeth. He clenched his fists as his eyes shone with ruthlessness, ready to devour people with one glance. Throughout history, there had never been any lord of the imperial court who lost their owner token, but this had to happen to He Lulan. Forget it. So what if I don't have the owner token? So what if I cannot use the gray meltdown killer move? Whatever the difficulties, they cannot stop me from getting the strength path, immortal goo. Mother, if you can watch this from the afterlife, see how I take revenge for you. Fang Yuan was slowly walking in the sacred palace's garden. His expression was not nice. He had a grim look on his face, in the flower garden. There was a jade fountain and a stone bridge, with flowers blooming and flourishing like it was spring. This beautiful environment was not something he could currently enjoy. Right after coming out of the White Jade Hall, Fang Yuan was feeling vexed about the matter of subduing imperial court land spirit, in his mind. Mo Yao's will chuckled. He too. Think that imperial court blessed land's condition for ownership was like that. Lad, with your gloomy personality, it will not be easy for you to find a woman that you love, while she also has to be deeply in love with you. Not long ago, Fang Yuan faced imperial court land spirit Frost Jade Peacock, and was told the condition to become the owner of imperial court. True love, to make the Frost Jade Peacock willingly submit to a master and obey every command. One person was not enough. It had to be a goo master couple who were deeply in love. It was very easy for Giant Sun Immortal Venerable to fulfill this condition. But for Fang Yuan, it was filled with difficulty, not mentioning the other parts, just requiring Fang Yuan to be truly in love with a certain woman was a near impossible matter. If this was in my previous life, I would be able to fulfill it. But now, Fang Yuan took a few steps and stopped at the stone bridge. He rested on the railing and looked at the jade lake below the bridge, laughing coldly. The lake was like a mirror under the radiance of the silvery night sky. It was a dazzling sight. What he did in 88 True Yang building that night was really a scary experience. But that was over now to this moment. He was basking in the beautiful scenery around the sacred palace, compared to the dangerous predicament he was in. Earlier, this truly felt like a dream or illusion. Life is like a dream, like morning dew and nocturnal flower, like the shadow of a bubble, Fang Yuan muttered. Going into a daze, the light breeze caused ripples on the surface of the lake. Among the ripples, a blurry image of a woman's figure seemed to appear in Fang Yuan's absent-minded gaze. That was the woman he had buried deep in his memories in Fang Yuan's previous life. He had faced disaster and was a destitute wanderer during the lowest time of his life. He had met her. The world's encounters were just so amazing, and the toying of fate was simply cruel and merciless. If we are talking about true love, why am I thinking of her? Fang Yuan's fingers, which were holding the railing, exerted force unknowingly. He frowned suddenly, and his gaze turned ice cold. The woman's figure silently vanished, and the surface of the lake appeared before him once again. Fang Yuan fell into deep thought. The current situation was not looking good. Frost Jade Peacock was formed from the obsession of the blessed land's original owner. Although it was arrogant, it would acknowledge true love, but it was near impossible for Fang Yuan to meet its requirements. That if he could not subdue the land spirit, then Fang Yuan's plan for taking over 88 True Yang building would fail completely. He would have to stop here. No wonder the Central Continent Gu immortals in my previous life chose to destroy Imperial Court blessed land and destroy 88 True Yang building. Gu immortals have lots of deep secrets and often have extreme personalities. It is harder for them to experience true love than mortals. After using gruel mud, even though the melting is slow, the land spirit seal is getting weaker. After being sealed for hundreds of thousands of years, the land spirit is filled with hatred and desires freedom badly. It will definitely try to break the seal. Although Giant Sun's will is still slumbering, when the seal melts to a certain degree, or if the land spirit continues to resist, it will definitely awaken. This was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's will. When an immortal venerable rages, blood would flow like a river. All beings would mourn. But the land spirit has the territorial advantage. As long as the blessed land remains intact, it would have a continual source of strength. When the two contest, it would be scarier than deities fighting. At that point, those who were mortals like Fang Yuan would suffer, especially when Fang Yuan was the culprit who released the land spirit. If he was targeted by Giant Sun's will, he would face a terrible end. There was no way out. Fang Yuan's original plan was like this. First, he would enter northern plains and make his way into Imperial Court blessed land. That he achieved this flawlessly, using his previous life's memories. He killed the wolf king Changshan Yin, who was at his last breath, taking over his identity and becoming a higher-up of He tribe army. Next, he hid within the Alliance army and got into Imperial Court Blessed Land. The second step was to get into 88 True Yang building and gain the most benefits for himself. Using the video from the Central Continent Gu immortals in his previous life, he would subdue the land spirit, and without alerting the immortal venerable's will, he would become the new owner of Imperial Court Blessed Land. The third step, after becoming the owner of the Imperial Court, he would not be in a rush to take down 88 True Yang building. Instead, he would hide in the background and develop in secret. Within 88 True Yang building, there was an immortal venerable's will. It was not easy to deal with. Imperial Court Blessed Land was a sacred place in the hearts of Northern Plains Gu masters. It could not be defiled or tainted if he was discovered. Fang Yuan would face the assault of the entirety of Northern Plains, such frightening power. Even if Fang Yuan escaped to other places, it would be pointless. There would not be a single super force that would protect him from the pressure of the whole of Northern Plains forces, unless it was during the chaotic 5 regions battle, when no one had the spare energy to bother with him, and when all 5 regions suffer setbacks. Fang Yuan would survive even if he was exposed. After becoming the land spirit's owner, Fang Yuan would order the land spirit to stay inside the White Jade Hall, while cooperating with 88 True Yang buildings. Operations. This way, everything would progress smoothly. First, he could use Imperial Court Blessed Land strength to deal with the Gu Immortal Tai by Yunsheng. This way, he would have a greater chance of success, and regardless of how their battle end up, Fang Yuan would not lose. Even if he failed to take the immortal Gu landscape as before, Fang Yuan would not be in any mortal danger due to the land spirit's protection. Secondly, Fang Yuan could use fixed immortal travel to move between Hu Immortal Blessed Land and Imperial Court Blessed Land freely. Hu Immortal Blessed Land was being covetously eyed by Immortal Crane sect, and every once in a while, there would be an earthly calamity. It would be the center of many struggles and not the ideal place to cultivate peacefully. By becoming the owner of Imperial Court Blessed Land, he could use Hu Immortal Blessed Land as his cover and Imperial Court Blessed Land as his true base. While cultivating, he could scheme against Immortal Crane sect to gain the most benefits. If it failed, he could discard Hu Immortal Blessed Land and retreat into Imperial Court Blessed Land. Imperial Court Blessed Land was protected by an immortal venerable setup. It was hard for Wisdom Path Gu immortals to make deductions involving it. Moreover, Fang Yuan would continue to fix and repair the loopholes in the future. Thus it would be much safer than Hu Immortal Blessed Land. Thirdly, Fang Yuan would own this precious resource. Every time True Yang building opens up, he could collect all these vast amounts of resources, including immortal Gu, without putting himself in danger. When the time comes, he would do what he did in his previous life, subduing a Blood Path Gu worm and becoming a Blood Path Gu immortal. It would be slow and steady, safe and sound. But though the plan was perfect, reality was not. Fang Yuan put in his best effort, but he was stuck at the second step. Unable to become the land spirit's owner, he could not borrow its strength. As a mortal, there was nothing much he could do. The situation was progressively getting worse. Giant Sun's will was definitely going to awaken. If Fang Yuan wanted to escape, he could use Whole Earth Gu and connect to Hu Immortal Blessed Land to flee. But he could not bring these few immortal Gu with him. Moreover, even if he obtained landscape as before immortal Gu, how would he quickly and safely return to Hu Immortal Blessed Land? Without the land spirit's help, as a mortal, Fang Yuan could not do that. At present, the plan can only be to first think of every possible method to convince the land spirit. If I am on its side, we can deal with Giant Sun's will together, and I might be able to borrow some of its strength. Sigh. I really do not want to use that final method. Chapter 604, Luck Inspection Gu. Half a month later, 88 True Yang building. The wind-scythe birds were densely packed together. A great number of them engulfed the sky as they charged towards the Alliance army. These wind-scythe birds had beaks as sharp as swords. Their wings were curved and razor-edged, like that of a scythe. They flew extremely fast, leaving behind afterimages in the air, and had no fear when they charged towards their enemies. Kill, kill, kill. He Lulan shouted. The black smoke around his body was rolling. creating multiple black tentacles as they one after another captured the surrounding wind-scythe birds and devoured them. The battle of the army fighting against the wind-scythe birds had been ongoing for an hour, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The floor was littered with bird corpses, but there were also many dead Gu masters. Ah! He Lulan screamed. He was going berserk from fighting, stretching out his right hand. His right arm was in a claw shape. As a dark spiral was formed, it rotated in the air and converged at the center of his right claw, in the blink of an eye. Thousands of dark streams gathered like they were flowing into the sea, into He Lulan's right claw like a black light ball. The light ball was dark and mysterious. It spun on its own and gave out a thunder-like sound. Go! He Lulan's eyes suddenly opened wide as he shouted. Using all his strength to point his claw at the sky, he grabbed the round ball of black light like he was lifting heavy weight. His movement was very slow and strenuous. Following this movement, the light ball slowly flew into the in the air. It rapidly expanded. In a few breaths' time, it expanded to the size of a mountain at once. The black light ball occupied the sky, covering half the Alliance Army's surface area. Countless wind-scythe birds were engulfed by it, melting and corroding. Not even their bones were left intact. The entire process was silent and strangely overbearing. People's hearts were turning cold from seeing this. This was He Lulan's signature killer move, Dark Vortex. After lasting for 6 breaths' time, the vortex killed tens of thousands of wind-scythe birds. The numbers of the wind-scythe birds were too huge, and because they gathered above the Alliance Army, they were a terrifying threat. After the dark vortex vanished, a huge clear hole appeared in the sky. But soon, the wind-scythe birds flooded in like a tide, covering up the hole again. Above the Alliance Army, there were countless wind-scythe birds again. This was the 25th round of the 68th floor of 88 True Yang building. The numbers of wind-scythe birds were too great. Among them were large numbers of bird kings. Their assault was too powerful. Actually, according to their experiences, they knew there had to be an easier way to challenge this round. But He Lulan directly charged in and mobilized all his strength to overwhelm the birds. This attracted the revenge and counterattack of the frenzied wind-scythe birds. Ha! Kill all these damn birds. At one side, Yi Lui Sang laughed. He Lulan's explosive strength triggered his fighting spirit. The Yi Lui tribe was on the same level as He tribe. They were both super forces, having Gu immortals backing them. Yi Lui Sang and He Lulan had the same status. They were both the tribe leader of their respective super tribes. When he saw He Lulan's killer move that killed countless wind-scythe birds, he was not willing to hold back anymore. Look at my newly developed killer move, Flame Demon. Yi Lui Sang shouted loudly as his sleeves fluttered, and his primeval essence rushed into the Gu worms in his hands. With a loud thud, his body was clad in flames as the flames burst out. All Gu masters near him moved away. Within the radius of a few hundred steps, he was the only person left. His body trembled, and the flames that could rise to heaven split to form a 10-meter bronze ape that was completely made of flames. The flaming bronze ape had an ugly appearance, with teeth like a gorilla, strange horns and bulging muscles. This was the Flame Demon. The Flame Demon rose into the sky, crashing around as all the wind-scythe birds that collided with it were ignited, screaming from being burnt alive. Along its path, flames were burning, causing a straight line of them to form in the sky. Large numbers of wind-scythe birds were roasted, falling to the ground. The Flame Demon rampaged arrogantly, attracting the attention of many birds. It greatly reduced the pressure of the Gu masters in the Grand Army. What fire demon? It is nothing much. Far away, He Lulan laughed loudly, showing his smug arrogance. Yi Lui Sang laughed as well. Hey tribe leader, take another look. In saying this, his body shook as the flames fell off him, forming another flame demon. He Lulan's expression changed, not just him. Even Fang Yuan, who was in the army, took a serious look. The flame demon had great strength, but to think he had more than one to 88 True Yang building gave lots of opportunities. It was not just Fang Yuan and He Lulan who were improving. Other Gu masters were gaining many rewards as well. When 6 flame demons entered the battlefield, the flames on Yi Lui Sang were finally extinguished. 6 flame demons, Thankfully, Fang Yuan retracted his gaze. He Lulan's expression soothed as well. Yi Lui Sang had true capability. This killer move was really extraordinary, but that was as far as it got. In terms of power, it could only be on par with Dark Vortex. The flame demons rampaged for an hour as their strength fell more and more, eventually perishing among the wind-scythed birds. But soon after, Fang Yuan, Tai Bai Yun Sheng, Shi Shui, Pei Yin Fei, Tao Yu, Gu Guolong, and others attacked, using all their killer moves. The great strength of rank 5 experts quickly changed the battlefield, tilting the scales of victory towards the Alliance army. Eventually, they succeeded, getting into the 26th round. Reporting to Lord Tribe Leader, 13 tribe leaders have submitted a letter of request. They are asking for a temporarily halt of advancement. They are worried about the huge casualties. They need to rest and recover. Before He Lulan had finished probing this round, his attendant He Shu had already reported. He Lulan frowned immediately, shouting, "Begrudging already despite such few casualties. These useless bums, they are all useless cowards. Return this request to them, and tell them we will advance no matter what. Whoever dares to escape or run away from the Alliance army will have their entire tribe and any related tribes executed. None will be spared." Saying so, he held the letter in his hand and tore it into pieces immediately. "Continue advancing, charge." He Lulan waved his hand, shouting as he commanded the army. He was anxious. These days, 88 Truyong building would emit a strange tremor every few days. Coupled with the disappearance of the owner token, He Lulan felt that this was not a simple matter. His instincts were telling him that something unthinkable was about to happen to avoid any accidents in the future. He had to quickly get the strength path Immortal Gu now. Only after advancing to a Gu Immortal would he have the strength to control this changing situation. The challenge this time lasted until the 20th round. Only after everyone was unable to continue and the casualties were too heavy did He Lulan have no choice but to retreat and recuperate. In his room, Tai Bai Yun Sheng showed a bitter smile as he held several East Window Gu in his hand. These East Window Gu contained the cultivation experience of previous generation Gu masters. Among them, most were time path attainment. These were all the round rewards obtained from 88 Truyong building. Don't tell me. This is the arrangement of destiny for me to advance to Gu Immortal Realm? Back then, Tai Bai Yun Sheng had failed in searching for a lifespan Gu. After wasting all his life savings, he had to become He Tribe's external elder. He was a time path Gu master, rank 5 peak stage. With his sensitivity towards time, he knew that he had little time left since a few years ago. Although advancing to Gu Immortal Realm could allow a Gu master's life to improve qualitatively, it could not increase his lifespan. But Tai Bai Yun Sheng's situation was a little special. His time path inheritance was extraordinary. It was a Gu Immortal inheritance. The core of his inheritance had 3 Gu: river as before Gu, mountain as before Gu, and man as before Gu. The inheritance has theorized long ago. When he becomes an immortal, using the supreme opportunity of the resonance of heaven and earth, he could advance his man as before Gu into an immortal Gu. The mortal man as before Gu could only be used on others. Immortal Gu man as before could be used on himself. If I have the man as before immortal Gu, I can use it on myself and extend my lifespan. Unfortunately, man as before is not like the spring-autumn cicada. I cannot save Gao Yang and Zhu Zai. Sigh. Thinking of this, Tai Bai Yun Sheng's heart was worried. The intense regret and guilt assaulted him once again. Fang Yuan stood at the peak of the tall tower, looking at He Tribe. Luck Inspection Gu had been activated for a while. It gave him a different field of vision from others. This rank 5 mortal Gu was the sole, unexpected gain that he obtained inside the true inheritance secluded domain. Luck Inspection, as the name suggests, could be used to inspect luck. It was an investigative Gu wormed eye in his vision. In the living quarters of He Tribe, there were countless smoke-like luck strands. But among them, 2 were extremely thick, like cranes among chickens. Even the palace's rooms could not hide them. Point 1 came from He Lulan. His luck was like a huge pillar, with an azure color. It was thick and long. The other came from Tai Bai Yun Sheng. His luck was like the flames burning during sunset, red and bright. It accumulated above the roof of his house. It was like the feeling of dazzling flames. The luck of these two are extremely high, but they are different. He Lulan's luck has a lasting feeling. Tai Bai Yunsheng's luck is like a pile of old firewood, burning at the last moment. In recent days, I secretly manipulated the rewards and placed many time path attainment experiences as rewards to give them to Tai Bai Yunsheng. Every time he gets one, the fiery red luck above him turns brighter by a bit. The possibility of becoming an immortal also increased slightly. Fang Yuan thought about it for a long time. He sighed in his heart when he thought about the mysterious and unfathomable luck path. But he had only obtained a single luck inspection goo. He did not know the details of the inheritance. It was like opening a new window towards this new path. He could only explore it slowly that he used the luck inspection goo on himself. Fang Yuan's body was shrouded in black ink like luck. This luck gathered and formed a huge coffin shape, completely covering his body. They were emitting a dense death energy, the energy of great misfortune. Even though Fang Yuan had looked at this many times, his heart always sank when he observed this. My luck is not looking optimistic. But these days, all my talks with the Imperial Court land spirit have had no progress. This land spirit is too arrogant. It only wants to break the seal and regain its freedom. Truyang building has already shaken 38 times. Eventually, giant suns would awaken. Fang Yuan gasped. He looked at a group of Gu masters. They were all shrouded in a black coffin-like luck, heading in the direction of He tribe. A moment later, they all entered Tai Bai Yunsheng's residence. Fang Yuan thought about briefly before understanding their intentions. This is a good opportunity for me to understand the meaning of this black coffin luck. Fang Yuan's gaze was dark. He gave a deep glance towards Tai Bai Yunsheng's location. Chapter 605, Pitiful Person, Double Chapter. We implore you to help us, Old Sir Tai Bai. I am sincerely asking Old Sir to go forward and plead for us. The whole of my tribe, our elderly, the weak, the women and children too, the future of all of our tribesmen are in Lord's hands. In the room, a group of Gu masters were kneeling on the ground, crying profusely or showing a sad expression. They were desperately asking Tai Bai Yunsheng for help. These Gu masters had rather special identities. They were all the tribe leaders of their respective tribes. Lu tribe, Shi tribe. All of these tribes were middle-sized tribes or small-sized tribes. During the process of challenging 88 Truyang building, they suffered the greatest numbers of casualties. If this were to continue, they might face the threat of being wiped out for good. The previous few times, they had as a group written letters of request, asking to retreat, but they were all harshly rejected by He Lulan. Survival was the #1 priority. He Lulan's oppressive and all-out tactics had already severely harmed the survival and development of these small and middle-sized tribes. But because of the Black Tyrant's fierce reputation, these tribe leaders did not dare to approach He Lulan himself. After discussing among themselves, they decided to jointly approach Tai Bai Yunsheng for help. Tai Bai Yunsheng was the current #1 healing master in all of Northern Plains. He was well known to be kind and merciful. His reputation in Northern Plains was second to none. Now that he had become He tribe's external elder, he was greatly trusted and depended on by He Lulan. If they could obtain Tai Bai Yunsheng's help, their respective tribes might very well gain the precious time to rest and recuperate. Please get up and speak. Tai Bai Yunsheng urged them. Old sir, if you do not accept our request, we will not get up. Please go take a look at our tribes. You will understand our pain and grief then. Our injuries and casualties are simply too great. Our women have lost their husbands. Our children have lost their parents. And our elderly have lost their children. Old sir, please go and talk to Lord He Lulan. If this carries on, our tribe is going to perish for good. We did not die in the Imperial Court contest, but instead, we are facing extermination within Imperial Court blessed land. If word gets out, where would He tribe's reputation go to? This is simply too ironic. The tribe leaders talked one after another. They held a firm attitude and refused to get up from the kneeling position. Sigh. Tai Bai Yunsheng heaved a long sigh. He had already been very unhappy with He Lulan's actions to begin with. There was enough time to go about this slowly. Why did he have to be so anxious and rush their advancement, causing such grave and severe casualties? He could not bear to see this in his heart. From Tai by Yun Sheng's perspective, most likely, losing the owner. Token during the challenge of the second round had triggered He Lu Lan. Another reason was that the supreme elders of He tribe were pressuring him greatly. Because of this pressure, He Lu Lan had no choice but to give it his all in challenging the rounds. My servants, quickly come and serve tea to the tribe leaders. Tai Bai Yun Sheng instructed his servants. He next turned around and consoled the band of tribe leaders. This old man will do his best to talk to tribe leader He Lu Lan, but all I can say is, I will try my best. Old sir, you are truly a kind person. You are so benevolent. Gaining old sir's help, it is truly our tribe's greatest fortune. Old sir, this is a letter of request that we have written collectively. We will be waiting for old sir's good news patiently. All the tribe leaders were filled with gratitude and joy. Tai Bai Yun Sheng received the letter of request from them and kept it in his pocket. After bidding farewell to the tribe leaders, he came to the grand hall and looked for He Lu Lan. He Lu Lan was not settling the administrative matters of the army in the grand hall. Instead, he was relaxing in the flower garden. Tai Bai Yun Sheng hurried over quickly, and when he saw He Lu Lan, the latter was playing chess in the lake pavilion. He Lu Lan heard his intentions and first rejected him strictly, but when Tai Bai Yun Sheng urged him with reasoning and kind words, He Lu Lan slowly became less strict as he said, "How about this? I can let these tribes rest and recover temporarily, but they must lend out all of their goo worms. My army will continue to advance, but we cannot reduce our strength just because of their absence. Every goo worm that they lend will entitle them to one person who can rest. Rank 2 goo worm will exempt a rank 2 goo master. A rank 3 goo worm will exempt a rank 3 goo master, and so on. Lord Tribe Leader is wise and merciful. I will thank Tribe Leader for his magnanimity on behalf of all the different tribes and their tribesmen." Tai Bai Yun Sheng knew this was the best result he could get. Thus he returned and informed all of the tribe leaders about this result. The tribe leaders looked at each other as they pondered over this, eventually accepting this condition that GU worms were the foundation and base of a goo master. Goo worms that were lent out were easy to get damaged, but it was much better than losing their own lives. The casualties that these tribes were facing were simply too severe. The next day, He Lu Lan ordered the Black Banner Army to go to the respective tribes' resting area and collect their goo worms. Being late was not an option. He also sent Tai Bai Yun Sheng to control the situation and settle the relevant administrative matters. After 3 days, this matter was finally settled. Tai Bai Yun Sheng returned and reported to He Lu Lan, who invited him to a banquet. During the banquet, He Lu Lan lifted his wine cup as he said, "Old sir, please have a drink. It was our great fortune that old sir joined our tribe, allowing the army to face much fewer casualties and injuries. Old sir, you revived countless people. You have accomplished great deeds. I am not worthy of such praise, but we have to try our very best at things. Whether we succeed or not is up to heaven. With longevity, heaven watching us, we can only do our best." Tai Bai Yun Sheng showed a look of shame, replying as he raised his cup. He Lu Lan's praise reminded him of Gao Yang and Zhu Zi AI. In truth, ever since he returned from the Blood Hall, every word of praise that he heard felt like an insult, like sarcastic comments that were whipping at his soul. But today, after settling this matter, he resolved the conflict between He tribe and many small and middle-sized tribes. In a way, he saved the lives of many goo masters. This made him feel slightly better. With longevity, heaven watching us, we can only do our best. He Lu Lan drank his wine in one gulp, putting it down as he muttered, sighing. Old sir's words are very accurate and articulate. It is truly well said. Longevity, heaven is watching us. The road to the future is filled with mystery and unexpected circumstances. As mortals, we can only do our best. Elder Tai Bai had already done his best. He Lu Lan, should do the same as well. Tai Bai Yun Sheng heard this and suddenly felt that He Lu Lan had some additional meaning in his words. He immediately asked, "Lord Tribe Leader, what do you mean by that?" He Lu Lan laughed heartily. He was about to speak when He Shu came in with a report. His body was covered in blood. His expression was respectful and cautious. He came to He Lu Lan's side and said, "Reporting to Lord Tribe Leader, the Black Banner Army has not failed your expectations. We have already settled it appropriately. Tai Bai Yunsheng felt the killing aura around him and had a very ominous feeling. He quickly asked, "What do you mean by settled it appropriately? Hey Shu, what did you guys settle?" Hey Shu did not speak. He raised his eyebrows as he gave Tai Bai Yunsheng a passing glance, showing disdain in his eyes towards Tai Bai Yunsheng's compassionate and benevolent attitude. "Huh, Elder Tai Bai? It is exactly like what you said. We can only do our best. You are doing your best, and I am doing the same. I have to do all I can to break through the rounds and accomplish the mission given to me by the Supreme Elder. Tell me, these people ran away in the middle of our task. What crimes have they committed? They were able to develop to this extent because they relied on me, taking advantages when they can and hiding when there is trouble. Is there such an easy and simple thing in this world? Humph. If everyone was like that, would my army need to exist anymore? Will there be anyone left who would challenge the rounds with me?" He Lulan said this with a sharp and resolute tone. His eyes were shining with a ruthless light. Saying this, there was no need to mention what the task given to the Black Banner Army was. "He Lulan, you." Tai Bai Yunsheng stood up in a flash. He stared at He Lulan with a furious gaze. He showed shock, anger, and even hatred on his face. Insolent. He Shu was unhappy and was about to strike, but He Lulan stretched out his hand and stopped him. "Elder Tai Bai, do not forget your current status." He Lulan kept away his ruthless expression and poured another cup of wine indifferently. Tai Bai Yunsheng clenched his fists. His body was shivering from pure anger. He stared at He Lulan fixatedly. He wanted to scold him, but no sound came out of his mouth. He Lulan chuckled, pouring a cup of wine for Tai Bai Yunsheng personally. "Old sir, take a seat. Such beautiful and relaxing scenery paired with good wine and food. We should not let it go to waste. Screw your good wine and food." Tai Bai Yunsheng swept his sleeves furiously. With a loud crash, all the wine cups fell onto the floor. He Lulan was unmoved. Instead, he pointed at the dishes on the table as he laughed loudly. "Elder Tai Bai, this is a banquet to celebrate your success. If not for your support, why would they trust us so much and lend out their goo? As they did not have their goo worms with them, my Black Banner Army could quickly swoop in and take them down, easily obliterating them. I have no one but you to thank for this." Tai Bai Yunsheng heard this and felt like lightning had struck him. He staggered 3 steps back as his face turned completely pale as paper. "He Lulan, you are really an unscrupulous scoundrel." "Unscrupulous? I cannot believe this. You are saying such naive things. Elder Tai Bai, you were also once the young tribe leader of a tribe. After living for so many years, have you not seen the reality of this world? These so-called political affairs have always been dirty." Tai Bai Yunsheng wanted to rebuke him, but there were no words he could say that he snorted coldly, turning around and leaving, walking out of the hall quickly without even turning back once. "Lord Tribe Leader, should I send people to surveil Tai Bai Yunsheng?" He Shu inquired. He Lulan raised his wine cup. His expression was plain, without a bit of nervousness. He glanced at Tai Bai Yunsheng's back as he laughed coldly. "Tai Bai Yunsheng is merely a healing goo master. What's there to be afraid of? His reputation? Hee. After this matter, who would dare believe in him again? Good deeds go unnoticed, while bad deeds travel 1,000 li." He Shu heard this and his heart jumped. Anyone who holds a high political position is an unfathomable schemer indeed. At this point, he could see that He Lulan's actions were killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Firstly, by causing bloodshed in these small and middle tribes, he was creating an example to show the others. Secondly, he could suppress Tai Bai Yunsheng, making him understand what status he is currently holding. Thirdly, it is to attack Tai Bai Yunsheng's reputation. In order to strengthen his own political power, Tai Bai Yunsheng walked quickly towards the scene of the incident. The slaughter had ended. In order to create more fear in people, He Lulan did not order his men to clean up the area. Tai Bai Yunsheng looked around, his expression turning white, and his heart was shivering. The sacred palace was dyed in blood. Corpses were everywhere on the ground. Not just strong adult men, there were even the old, the weak, women and children. Some of them had their eyes wide open, dying an indignant death. Some of them had their arms and legs chopped off. Some were cut in half. It was a gruesome sight. Some had messy clothing. Their expressions were twisted and in agony. It was evident that they had been humiliated in an inhuman way before they died. All of this, it was all caused by me. If not for me trusting He Lu Lan, if not for me trying to mediate the tension between the two, I was too foolish, I was too naive. I did not manage to see He Lu Lan's ugly and evil intentions. All these people, they all died because they placed their trust in me. Tai Bai Yunsheng's body was shivering. The intense smell of blood was assaulting him, and the scene of a sea of corpses lying on the ground was causing a huge impact on his fragile state of mind. His back was hunched, the mild wind blew at him and caused his beard to move slightly. He had deep wrinkles and a dazed expression. His fists were tightly clenched, soundlessly expressing the grief, agony, regret, and self-blame that he was feeling deep in his heart. Plopped, he kneeled on the ground weakly, holding himself up with his hands as the blood dyed his palms, his knees, and his pants bright red. Sorry, I am sorry. Tai Bai Yunsheng wept profusely. At once, his face was like an overflowing river. This is a good person. Even though there is also darkness in his heart, in the end, there is great terror when one is between life and death. Facing death, which normal person would not lose themselves. Far away, at a hidden corner, Fang Yuan had been observing this intently and silently. He watched the scene unfold with his very own eyes. That it turned out that the black coffin luck represented a severe disaster that would threaten his life. The extermination of these tribes was the best proof of that. Meanwhile, the death energy on his body was more than dozens of times thicker than these tribes' members, even 100 times as thick. This is so interesting. Luck, huh? Fang Yuan's lips curled into a cold and arrogant smile. He wanted to see if this so-called bad luck could stop him in his steps. In this life, there is no person, any reason, or any difficulties that can affect my determination in moving forward. His gaze was cold and still as ice, looking towards Tai Bai Yunsheng, who said that kind people will be rewarded. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan's cold expression turned into one that had a trace of sarcasm. Then let me give you a hand. He activated his goo worms in secret, forming an illusory voice that was untraceable. As the sound waves entered Tai Bai Yunsheng's ears one by one, Tai Bai Yunsheng's state of mind was close to collapsing. His mind was extremely susceptible to influences at this moment. He could hear a voice. It sounded just like Gao Yang and Zhu Zai. I believe in you. You will definitely save us, isn't that right? Old sir, you are our benefactor. We are grateful to you. We are willing to risk our lives in order to come forward and help you. Tai Bai Yunsheng screamed suddenly, opening his eyes abruptly. With his blurred vision due to his tears, he looked at the blood puddle on the ground. The blood puddle rippled, as the nightmare that haunted him appeared once again. The image of Gao Yang and Zhu Zai dying from the sea of blood beasts. Tai Bai Yunsheng's body shuddered. He was still like a statue, but the next moment, he raised his head and screamed with all of his energy. H. His shrill and hoarse voice resounded in this bloody slaughterhouse. Ha. When his screaming ended, Tai Bai Yunsheng started laughing like a maniac. His laughter contained the feeling of madness, but also anger and sadness. There was also a trace of mockery towards himself, towards the mortal world. Crazy? He's crazy. Elder Tai Bai has gone mad. The surrounding He tribe Gu masters were shouting in shock. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan was curling his lips and smiling. He was a transmigrator and had also undergone rebirth. His rich life experience had allowed him to grasp the psychology of people to a very precise degree. Tai Bai Yunsheng was a very good person, but his subconscious action in the blood hall was akin to betrayal. This action created suspicion, doubts, and denial that he felt towards himself in terms of his personal values. If a person denied himself and suspected himself, then he would no doubt fall into a deep abyss of agony. Very evidently, Tai Bai Yunsheng was in great pain. He felt guilt in his heart. Almost every night, he was tormented by a similar nightmare. For him to accept that he had some kind of despicable and lowly character as a fact, it would be impossible to do so. His entire life revolved around justice and benevolence. He had walked on this road for too long. He wanted to return to it, but he knew that in the deepest part of his heart, this action formed a barrier that he could not cross. He was stuck in the abyss of agony. sinking deeper and deeper the more he struggled. The tribe leader's request towards him was a chance that he had towards salvation, and a redemption for his mistakes. If he could really succeed, it was undeniably the best medicine for him to pay for his sins, and he would be able to forgive himself. But the truth was, He Lulan ordered a mass slaughter, not leaving even a single woman or child behind. This in turn caused Tai Bai Yunsheng to become the biggest assistant in this murder spree. His medicine turned into a heart-piercing poison. The intense toxins caused him to lose himself. His mental state was close to breaking down. At this juncture, Fang Yuan pushed him lightly, finally causing Tai Bai Yunsheng to explode, breaking from the deepest part of his heart. Perhaps only Fang Yuan could understand him at this point. That Tio put it in another way. After searching through his soul, Fang Yuan, who had seen Tai Bai Yunsheng's entire life, could be said to know him intimately. But the cruel reality was, this person was not his kin or his friend. He was an enemy plotting against him. Fang Yuan, who was hidden in the darkness listening to Tai Bai Yunsheng's laughter, looked on with an expression of appreciation, smiling lightly. This was a respectable and pitiful old man. He screamed his lungs out. In his laughter, on his face full of tears, he was questioning himself. He was questioning the cruelty of this mortal world. Fate was toying with him, and he was helpless to resist. If you deny even yourself, what can you do? Fang Yuan muttered lightly. His gaze was as deep as night. Go to the blood hall again and try to challenge the round? No. If you are there, your mind will be full of Gao Yang and Zhu Zai's images. Go seek help. Who can help you now? Hey Lulan. It can be assumed that you have just fallen out with him. Or rather, even if you manage to get the lifespan goo, will you be able to use it with peace of mind? Hee, the current you. What options do you possibly have? What choices can you still make? Denying yourself, wallowing in self-pity, feeling intense pain and grief. You, a person who is facing a trial of your conscience, what option do you have? In Fang Yuan's heart, an answer was becoming clearer. Thus, go ahead and make your decision. I hope you will not let me down. In the darkness, Fang Yuan's gaze was shining as he looked at the crazy Tai Bai Yunsheng. Tai Bai Yunsheng was laughing wildly. His voice was bitter, like he was wailing that he tore his clothes. As tears and mucus were mixing on his face, he did not have the demeanor of a rank 5 peak state expert at this point. He was someone who feared death, but he was also a good person who was pushed into a corner by this cruel and ice-cold mortal world. That in truth, he was more like a pitiful person, since some time ago, a mild wind had started blowing. The wind gradually grew bigger and bigger as clouds were forming in the sky. With Tai Bai Yunsheng as the center, the surroundings were quietly and rapidly transforming. Some sort of mystical change had started. Heaven and earth were beginning to tremble. You did not disappoint me in the end. Fang Yuan was extremely excited. He took his leave and vanished without a trace. He rapidly traveled far away, retreating, because it was no joke when a Gu master advances into an immortal. Soon, the wind and clouds went wild. As heaven and earth changed, the dark and thick black clouds looked like they were about to collapse at any time, destroying the sacred palace. In and out of the sacred palace, shouting could be heard everywhere. What is going on? What in the world is happening? Countless people did not know what was happening. They fell into a panic. Could it be? Some people with greater knowledge and experience stared at this grand scene with a dumbfounded expression. Go investigate. Go investigate. Who is it? In the hall, He Lulan was furiously screaming. Lord, it is Tai Bai Yunsheng. He Shu was full of sweat as he stumbled his way into the hall and reported this. He Lulan's expression froze. He was as still as a statue for a moment. A few breaths later, he reacted and shouted with a twisted expression. Retreat. Order everyone to leave the sacred palace. Of course, those who wish to die can stay here.